and Kevin Durant's now the world's best basketball player. Last night was a clinic. He got poked in the ribs. Steve Kerr even poked him in the ribs a little bit. He came out last night. Game was over in 8 minutes. Best basketball player in the world. I mean, the guy's unbelievable. Giannis, doesn't shoot threes, doesn't handle the ball like KD. Steph doesn't have his size, his length. James Harden doesn't have his overall game, not the defender, not the length, not as athletic. This is the world's best basketball player. I'm not saying the gap between him and LeBron is gigantic, but this is it. This is what it looks like, okay? And when he joined the Golden State Warriors, he joined it for basketball reasons. He's like, I can't win titles with crazy Westbrook. He joined it for basketball reasons and winning basketball. Those are the right reasons. This is why he shouldn't go to New York, because he's not joining New York for basketball reasons. I had dinner about a week ago with Mark Few, the coach of Gonzaga. And I asked him, he was at the mini camp this summer with USA Basketball, and Harden was there, and Westbrook was there, and Kevin Durant was there. And I'm not going to give away, most of the private conversation, but I did ask him about Durant, and he just laughed. Mark Few just laughed. He went, man. You know who else had that response? Mike Krzyzewski, the first time he was asked about LeBron James, that he saw him. I remember that. And Krzyzewski was like, about LeBron, man, when talent evaluators like Mark Few and Mike Krzyzewski can't explain a guy, it's like, wow, yeah, you can't stop that guy. I mean, that is what you have right now. And last night he got poked in the ribs and completely dominated the game. And here's what I say. When you work your entire life to be great at something, LeBron worked his entire life to be great at something, and you become the best at something, what Kevin Durant is. You keep your foot on the pedal. Okay, now LeBron James went to Los Angeles, and I understood it because he'd been the best basketball player in the world for about a decade or more. And you can make an argument. LeBron said, listen, I can sense it. I'm not quite the same player. I don't have the energy. I'm going to move into business. I got that with Michael Jordan, and I get it with LeBron. But that's not the case with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's got 3 to 4 more prime years. He's worked his entire life to be the best basketball player in the world. He is it. You do not move away from basketball. Now, if he wants to come back with a new arena, and then maybe he gets banged up a little, and then he thinks, you know what, man, I'm on the back nine, and then Kevin wants to go to New York, I get it. But last night was another example. He is just crazy. The NBA is full of great basketball players. Even among the greatest basketball players, Giannis, Steph, Harden, Durant's a notch above. He gets his shot whenever he wants it. And Marcus Thompson covers him. He's writing a book on Kevin Durant. We had him at the end of our show yesterday, Marcus Thompson. He's got the closest relationship with Kevin Durant anybody in the American media. It was a fascinating interview. I just sat here just asking quick questions and listening. And again, he's not Magic personality-wise. He doesn't have the charisma, doesn't dress like Jordan, who always looked like a model. He doesn't have the iconic 15 years old, the chosen one like LeBron. But he's a different cat, but he's unbelievable. Here's Marcus.
Kevin Durant, you got to work to get to him, right? Like he makes you work. He is so personable. Like he's a human. Like he's the most human guy I've ever covered. Right?
Really?
Yes, no question. He feel like he talks to you. He feels what you're saying. Like you can have an existential conversation with him. No question. Like he loves to talk. You know, when he gets mad at you, he's going to let you know. When you say something funny, he's going to laugh. Like, he's that way. Kevin Durant is like, you go in there, you prod him. You know, you're going to get something from him off the bat.
Yeah. So, again, we've had different times in the history of the NBA, and I've watched it for 4 decades. Sometimes the best basketball player, Kareem, was kind of aloof and quiet. Sometimes the best basketball player, Magic Johnson, had a huge personality. Sometimes he's been polarizing. LeBron James, Kevin's the best basketball player in the world. And he's not like everybody else. He's a little more sensitive. He's real. You poke him, he responds. But God, last night was a clinic. He just a clinic. There's great, and then there's Durant. And it's an amazing place to be in your life. You work your butt off your entire life to be the best radio guy, the best landscaper, the best lawyer, the best whatevs, and you get there. You don't take your foot off the gas. You take your foot off your gas in 4 years when you're out of your prime and you want to go to New York. You don't take it off now. You stay in basketball nirvana in Oakland and you win every last game you can. All right, let me shift to this. I got to admit, I looked really smart last night. Weren't you watching that Sixers game and going, I hate Cowherd. I hate that guy. Come on, you Philadelphia fans. Admit it, you don't like me. Some of you Eagle fans have turned. You like me a little. But you Sixer fans don't like me. But last night you sat there watching on your black and white TV in Philadelphia, and you're like, Cowherd's right. We're better when Simmons is the star and Embiid sitting. So I said yesterday, last night is what the Philadelphia 76ers should look like going forward. Ben Simmons has got the ball, no center clogging up the middle, and a bunch of J.J. Redicks and Butlers and Tobias Harris on the outside. That is the future. Joel Embiid not playing showed you what it should look like. You cannot have two guys in the NBA on your roster that can't shoot threes. So you better pick one, Simmons, who can at least get the ball to guys who can shoot threes. Get it to Redick. Get it to Butler. Get it to Tobias Harris. Okay. Oklahoma City had the same situation where Harden and Westbrook, they had to make a choice. And Westbrook at the time was slightly more developed in his game than Harden was with his. And they chose Westbrook. But they didn't watch where the NBA was going, and it was going in Harden's direction, not Westbrook. And they didn't have the vision. And so they chose the more developed player in the moment. And this morning, Embiid is more complete in his game than Simmons is in his. Simmons is still evolving. Embiid, this is the product. And Embiid's product today is better than Simmons. But basketball isn't just about what it used to be and what it is. It's about where it's going. And it's going to Simmons. Number one, I'm not into bigs. Used to be, my favorite player was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for years. But I'm not into Karl Anthony and Anthony Davis and Embiid. I mean, I think they're great players. Show me them leading their franchises to playoff wins, because that's all this sport's about. It's about the postseason. Number two is I'm not into bigs who get hurt. Anthony Davis hurt a lot. Embiid has still missed more games than he's played for the Sixers. I'm not making that up. By the way, out last night. Last year, Miami, out 2 games. He's hurt a lot. You could get a ton for Joel Embiid on the market. Of course you could. He's a great player. I mean, he walks into an arena, he's 27 points and 12 rebounds. He's fun. He's social. He can be dominating. There's got to be a team in this league that doesn't have shooters or bigs, and they got some assets and draft picks, and they want to have a dominant player. Embiid's an all-star, one of the 10, 12 best players in America right now. He's got value. Don't tell me he doesn't have value. Anthony Davis has value. A big who gets hurt and doesn't have a lot of playoff resume stuff. But be very careful. Basketball is changing. We have a renaissance going on. Houston, Golden State is the way to do it. Philadelphia, Colin, why do you have to get rid of either of them? Have you watched the Sixers this year? Second best roster in the NBA to Philadelphia, and they're a number 3 seed in the East? They'd be a number 6, 7 seed in the West. And the second best roster in the NBA. Warriors, Philadelphia, Houston. And, then you can argue Milwaukee, Boston. So the bottom line, Embiid, who's already been hurt, before he gets hurt big, this is what you should look like. Get Simmons the ball. If you have a big with Simmons, it'll clog up the lane. And he's going to score 90% of his points in his career at the basket. He's a 6'10.5" point. Outside of Magic, I've never seen anybody who even looks like Ben Simmons at point. And he's going to give you, last night, 31 points. He's going to give you 24 a night at the rim. And Embiid can give you 27 at the rim, but Embiid can't get it to shooters and control the tempo like Ben Simmons. And I like Embiid. Yesterday I unveiled my 12 best basketball players in the NBA. I had Embiid at like 6. He is more refined today than Ben Simmons. He is. And Westbrook and Harden, back when they had to make a decision, Westbrook was a more complete player at that moment than Harden, who was still developing. But don't get caught up in the moment. This is why there's great stock pickers in America on Wall Street. It's not just the stock price today. What's it going to be in 6 years? The Sixers last night, that's what they should look like. Give me Redick on one wing. Give me Tobias on another. Give me Butler on another. You trade Embiid, you get another shooter somewhere, maybe a draft pick. Go draft next year, the best shooter you can find. But that's the NBA tomorrow. Today, it looks more like Embiid. Every year, less and less like that and more like Simmons. Good stuff. By the way, it was kind of ironic. In Brooklyn, they were teasing Ben Simmons. They had these missing posters on poles in Brooklyn. Ben Simmons' jumper's missing. Yeah, who was missing? Embiid didn't play. Simmons was great. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.